Hey, we're the Veronicas.
Hey bitches, welcome to the deep dive on the Veronicas. I literally am so excited to be doing this deep dive because I have loved the Veronicas since I was like 13 years old. I'm 29. I have been on a journey with these girls and I literally am just so excited to yap about them because I love them so much. I first saw them on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on the episode where Zack and Cody go to Hollywood because I'm American. They hadn't broken into America yet. That would happen later, but I just remember being like, who are these girls? I'm obsessed with them. That's how I became a stan. So yes, thank you, Disney Channel. Okay, on to the deep dive. Jessica Louise Orglasso and Lisa Marie Orglasso were born on Christmas Day 1984 in Albany Creek, Queensland, Australia. LOL at the fact that her name is Lisa Marie. I guess even Australians love Elvis. Anyway, Jess is older by 1 minute. They also have an older brother named Julian. As little girls, they were always singing and wanting to be on stage. They also took part in musical theater. When they were 17, they were featured in an Australian TV show called Cybergirl. Now, all I remember about this is that their characters were twins named Emerald and Sapphire, and they were kind of like the mean girls. Because I'm American, I literally did not know this existed until the twins went on this Australian talk show called Rove Live, and then Rove brought out the clip of them on the show. And they were embarrassed. And I was like, I don't get what's embarrassing, but okay. By 2004, Jess and Lisa were signed as songwriters to Excalibur Productions Australia. By the end of 2004, meaning like around their birthday, they signed a record deal worth $2 million with Sire Records in America. We have to pause here because I remember seeing this DVD documentary type of thing that was on their first album, The Secret Life of, where they were basically very excited because they were like, oh my god, we're so young and it's so cool that we're signing to this label because Madonna signed to this label. I don't know why that stuck with me, that they were so excited to be on the same label that Madonna had been on at one point. Yeah, their lore is kind of funny. It only gets funnier from here, I promise. Later, they were sued by Archie Comics for using the name Veronica in their band name. The lawsuit was eventually settled, and Jess and Lisa were featured in an issue of Archie Comics. The cover page is just Archie being excited that he's surrounded by Veronicas, as you can imagine. On October 17, 2005, they released their debut album called The Secret Life of, which included singles Forever, Everything I'm Not, When It All Falls Apart, Revolution, and Leave Me Alone. All bangers, if you ask me. 2 years later, their second album, Hook Me Up, was released on November 3rd, 2007. The singles off that album were Hook Me Up, Untouched, This Love, Popular, and Take Me on the Floor. Although Hook Me Up, the single, took off in Australia, the US became obsessed with Untouched. It went on to be certified platinum in the United States with over 1 million digital downloads. They embarked on the Revenge is Sweeter tour, their first to go global, which began in February 2009 and ended in December. After concluding that tour, Jess and Lisa decided to take time off from the group. Having promoted their second album since 2007, they were ready to move on, wanting to discover whether they could create separately as well as individuals. After their brief time apart, they came back to start working on their third album. It was set to be released in 2010 and was supposed to be titled Life on Mars. The album was never released, but they did release a single called Lolita in 2013. The girls sued to get out of their contract with Warner Music, and by the end of the year, the Veronicas was officially an independent duo. In April 2014, the twins announced the third album would be self-titled. The first single, You Ruined Me, was their highest charting single in Australia since Hook Me Up in 2007. Oh my god, I have so many thoughts on that album. It was so good. My favorite songs are You and Me. It makes me cry every time. Seriously, if you have never heard You and Me by the Veronicas, go listen to it. I promise you will cry. Cold, Let Me Out, and Cruel. In 2019, they randomly did a reality show called The Veronicas Blood is for Life. I remember lots of drama, even though it was only 6 episodes. They released a single called Ugly about how their relationship as sisters and musicians was non-existent for a whole year while Jess was dating Ruby Rose, a supposed abusive relationship. The lyrics, I'm always on your side, is a reference to their song On Your Side, which had Ruby Rose in the music video. Another lyric, You Traded Your Diamonds for Rubies, is a clear reference, in my opinion, to Ruby Rose. In 2021, the Veronicas released their fourth album. It was called Godzilla. My favorite song off this one is 101. There's not much to say about this era because it just kind of came and went. It wasn't as big as how Hook Me Up had literally taken over Australia and America. A year later, something wild happened. The Veronicas went solo. Well, sort of. See, Jess released a single called Seeing Stars, and Lisa also had a single out called Cruising on My Own. Again, this was just something you kind of had to be there for, because before they announced what it was, everybody was scared. Everybody was already like, the Veronicas are over, like, it's done, pack your bags, it's done. Yeah, I'm so glad they're still making music as the Veronicas, because that moment where they were like, we're teasing something, and it's the end of something, I was so scared. I don't care how parasocial that makes me seem, I was scared. In 2024, their 5th album, Gothic Summer, was released. Okay, now let's get into the controversial stuff. In 2012, Jess started tweeting Michael from 5 Seconds of Summer. At one point, she finds out that he's 17. It's assumed she backs off. But also, people like to say that she didn't back off and that there was a whole situationship between the two. Again, she would have been 28 at the time and Michael would have been 17. Allegedly this happened, but again, I don't know, I wasn't there. But yeah, that's probably one of their first big controversies, were these tweets going back and forth. Then there was an incident in 2017 where Ruby Rose, Jess's then girlfriend, accused Lisa of making a homophobic comment during the Australian marriage equality plebiscite. In response to the accusations, the sisters have maintained their support for the LGBT plus community and have stated they are proud of the music they've made, which reflects their lives and experiences. In 2018, more drama with Ruby Rose happened. Basically, she commented on pictures of Jess at Lisa's wedding and said congrats. Jess then replied, I have requested you not contact me over 4 months now. You have been given my grace of being ignored on every other private platform, so the fact that you continue to ignore this to contact me here publicly under the guise of wishing me well is continued harassment. We have to talk about the plane incident. In 2019, the Australian Federal Police said officers came on board amid an argument between 2 passengers, Jess and Lisa. It was them versus the staff on the airplane, pretty much. The women agreed to disembark with no further issues. One passenger told Queensland's Courier Mail that the singers refused to follow crew instructions. But the girls responded back with their side of the story, saying, the details reported are false and in conflict with video recorded during the event and witness accounts from the flight. The incident was escalated without explanation why from the cabin staff. We cooperated with all requests from authorities and exited the aircraft. We actually already had our bag up in the overhead. The female flight attendant wanted Lisa's bag spun around. Lisa asked the attendant if she could help assist her because she couldn't reach it. This is true, they're very short. The attendant said it was against company policy, and a lovely man behind us helped instead. Then right before takeoff, the flight attendant brought over the manager and pointed us out. He proceeded to lecture us about company policy. After this, Jess and Lisa claimed that the staff refused to give the duo their names and threatened that they would call security, saying, we had no idea why, that's why we started filming. We were so confused as to why asking for their names resulted in us being removed by 3 federal police. We are still in shock and so upset. It's so scary that they can call federal police on people without any reason or explanation. Where are they now? Well, the Veronicas are still making music and playing shows. They just played a show in Brazil. They've got a couple festival dates happening this year. This year, they keep teasing something for the US fans. On the more personal side of things, the updates are that Jess is married and so is Lisa. Lisa got married first. There's not much else to say here except that I'm happy that they're still around and I love their music. So yeah, that's been the deep dive on the Veronicas.